So I contacted Alex about 2 months ago via Facebook message because I had an appointment set up to see a home, and it was a short sale. And, reading on the internet and talking to other real estate agents, they really try to push me away from the deal. But, I saw an opportunity, but I wasn't sure. So I sent Alex a message, and he responded very quickly within the first 30 minutes of me actually sending the Facebook message. And we set up an appointment next day to talk about the deal and, other advice he'd had for me. And one of the things that really stuck with me was how he was able to push me to a new level of confidence that I wouldn't have otherwise had because I had no support. And, with his experience, I just felt that I could do it. And it's something that sometimes you just need an external force and a slight nudge. And, it's like firework. It just, boom, you explode. And, I'm still in the process of working with this deal. It's been 2 months, but I got solid paperwork, and I have the paperwork being passed by the homeowner's attorney, and it looks like it's going to work out. And even if it doesn't work out, it's a great experience. And I wouldn't have taken that leap without Alex's advice that goes against what everyone else told me to do. And that's something that you can't find for free on Google. You can't find in forums or, free YouTube videos. It's the one-on-one response that sometimes you need. And, one of the things that I really took away from that conversation was something that, you won't hear from most people, is the best deal you'll ever make is the one you don't make. And what does that mean? That means that, you shouldn't be desperate. You shouldn't get emotional when it comes to these deals. You got to be logical, and most people aren't. Most people buy things on emotion, and they end up losing a lot of money. The margins aren't there, or they're bleeding. They're bleeding out on a deal because they thought it was a deal. And that's not necessarily true, And, another thing that I really took away from the conversation with Alex is that, when it comes to marketing, everyone's trying to do all three things: social media, sending out flyers, bandit signs, knocking door to door. But what he told me was truly important is to focus on one thing. He never told me that, bandit signs isn't the way to go or mail isn't the way to go. He just told me to focus on one. And that's what I started focusing on, the bandit signs. Although that's not what he really recommends, it's worked out for me. I got a couple of calls in the last 2 weeks. I made my first appointment, and I was negotiating with a motivated seller about 2-3 days ago. And I wasn't able to close the deal, and that's because my skills weren't up to par. But I'm staying consistent and motivated, and I know that, this is just the start. And if I want to get better, I need to be conscious and improve my skills. And Alex has really helped me really focus and give me the motivation that I need. And one of the websites that his blog is really useful. If you haven't checked it out, RealEstateSkills/blog. He talks about all the necessary skills, how to negotiate with sellers, what marketing strategies to use, how to stay focused, just all around great content. And, he also offers one-on-one consulting, which he offered to me, and I took advantage of it, and it's helped me push me forward. Before I wasn't so sure about it, but now I'm dead focused on it. And I'm doing, as he said, not just with the marketing, but I'm making this this is me. This is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to continue to do. Real estate is something that's not going to go anywhere. It's something that's going to be around for hundreds of years. People are always going to need a place to live. And this just makes sense as in terms of an investment and also spending my time. And, another talking point that he makes is that when everyone's excited, be scared. and that's not necessarily his quote, it's a Warren Buffett quote, but that shows a lot about his character. He reads not only from, he doesn't just read any books from, the New York's bestseller list, because those people are not necessarily, the experts. They're not necessarily making money in the industry, but he reads from the top. Warren Buffett is the best investor alive right now. And to be honest with you, it's very important, because we talked about, this home that I was looking at is a home that was purchased during the peak of the housing bubble. It was overpaid for. The numbers just didn't make sense, but it made sense because everyone was paying ridiculous prices. But, in that time period, there were people that weren't buying. They were saying the numbers don't add up. And the point is, you have to be to be successful, it's important to be contrarian. When everyone's going left, you go right. And sometimes you need someone outside of this whole community, this whole groupthink, to point you in the right direction. Alex is definitely the person to do that. And he's given me the courage to actually pursue what I think is right. And, persistence is really important. But also, you need to have a strategy. And that's why I think you should really take advantage of Alex's Pro Wholesaler program, because, he's doing deals left and right. And he's not new to the game. He's been doing it for longer than I have, at least 3.5 years, I think. And he's made a lot more money than 90% of the people in the industry. He's young, he's motivated, and he's always learning. And that's who you need to surround yourself with. And don't be afraid of paying to learn things. Because the more you learn, the more you earn. And this isn't something he told me or, I came up with. That's something that Warren Buffett, the richest investor, said. And if you aren't constantly learning, if you aren't constantly changing, you're going to be left behind. And Alex is out there putting out content every day, consistently and persistently, on real estate skills and how to move forward. Because this industry is constantly changing and we need guidance. And that's what Alex is there for. Not only did he give me guidance, in terms of real estate, but also mindset. Mindset is really important in this industry, but also many industries. And it's important to surround yourself with people that are going in the same direction you want to go. And Alex is going to take you there. So definitely check out all his content. I'd highly recommend any of his programs. I'm sure he's going to write a book at some point. I'd buy that too. And I'm not afraid to do the same, because I can't expect my life to change without change. And you shouldn't either.